When a market is dominated by only a few firms, even small pricing moves can affect everyone. So when should the government step in, and when should it stay out? In this video, you will learn what makes oligopolies tricky, why governments worry about them, and the three main ways public policy can respond. An oligopoly is a market with only a few major sellers, often offering identical or closely related products. Because there are so few firms, each one has to watch the others closely. One company changes price, output, or advertising, and the rest may respond fast. That can lead to two very different outcomes. Sometimes firms compete hard, which pushes prices down and helps consumers. But if firms cooperate, openly or quietly, they can restrict output and keep prices higher than they would be in a more competitive market. That is why antitrust policy exists. In the United States, major laws like the Sherman Antitrust Act and the Clayton Act were designed to protect competition by targeting conduct that can unfairly reduce rivalry. The basic goal is simple. If a few dominant firms act in ways that weaken competition, the government may try to stop that behavior so prices stay closer to competitive levels and consumers have more choices. Consider one controversial practice: a manufacturer telling every retailer to charge the same price for a product. That can reduce price competition between stores, but supporters say it can also protect service quality because stores may be more willing to help customers if they are not racing to the very lowest price. Another example is predatory pricing. A dominant firm may cut prices so deeply that smaller rivals cannot keep up. The problem is that low prices are not always illegal. Sometimes they are simply what real competition looks like, so proving harmful intent can be difficult. A third example is tying, when one product is sold together with another. Imagine a smart television that comes bundled with a required streaming package. That could make things easier for consumers, but it could also make it harder for rival streaming services to compete on their own. Here is the key misconception to avoid. Big firms are not automatically bad for society. Large-scale production can lower costs and make goods cheaper to produce. So far, we have covered what an oligopoly is, why antitrust policy exists, and why some business practices sit in a gray area. Ready to lock it in? Tap the link for study guides and flashcards on this topic, so you can keep learning without missing a beat. So, what should the government actually do? Economists and policymakers usually group the answers into three broad approaches. The first approach is the laissez-faire, which means to do nothing. This view says oligopolies do not always behave badly. Sometimes large firms compete fiercely, and their size helps them produce efficiently, which can benefit consumers. The second approach is strong antitrust action. Supporters of this view want the government to break up dominant firms or block mergers that would leave too little competition. Their argument is that more rivals usually means lower prices and stronger pressure to innovate. The third approach is regulation. Instead of breaking firms apart, governments impose rules to limit anti-competitive behavior while preserving efficiency advantages. Here is a helpful way to compare them. Doing nothing bets that competition and efficiency will be enough. Breaking up firms bets that more rivals will create better outcomes. Regulation tries to preserve the efficiency of large firms while using rules to reduce the harm that weak competition can cause. In practice, the hard part is judgment. A policy that looks anti-competitive in one market may improve convenience or quality in another. That is why antitrust cases often turn on evidence about consumer harm, entry barriers, and whether competition is actually being restrained. To recap, oligopolies involve only a few major firms, which makes coordination more possible and competition more fragile. Governments respond in three main ways: do nothing, break up firms, or regulate them. The best choice depends on whether the market power is harming consumers. Now that you've watched the video, let's see how much you remember. Head to the link in the description where you'll find Quizlet content made just for you.